I reckon I could do each one. All right, so Black Templars, Repulsor Crusader. It's like a Land Raider Crusader, but a Repulsor. Either that or some kind of Paladin squad where they all have a little bit like Sword Brethren, but the lore behind them is each one of them has got a power, has got like a special power sword. I'd kind of make them like similar to Victrix Guard, but for Black Templars, and each one of them has a power sword, and the power sword is like a mini version of the Emperor's Champion's Black Sword. And the idea is that with the Black Templar Paladins, is each one is kind of like a Emperor's Champion aspirant. So they're wanting to become, they know that the Emperor's Champion is, they're like questing knights. They're looking for Bretonia, they're looking for the favor of the lady, but each one is looking to become the Emperor's Champion. And so they're not just like veterans of the Black Templars, like anyone, they are brothers who have almost given up the hierarchy. They don't want to become a Castellan, they don't want to become a marshal or anything like that. Their goal is to be as pious as possible, to take on the biggest challenges possible, to die gloriously if need be. But each one is doing everything they can to become worthy of becoming an Emperor's Champion. Okay, so either the Repulsor Crusader or Paladin Squad, that one. Blood Angels. So Blood Angels, there's some low-hanging fruit here. I think you bring back Librarian. I think Librarian Redemptor Dreadnought is kind of an obvious one. I think just Librarian Redemptor Dreadnought. Simple. Dark Angels. I feel like the Dark Angels need some Ravenwing going on. I'd probably be like Black Knight Outriders. So they take Outriders, give them the wings on the back, and give them twin Hellblaster plasma gun on the front. Like that, I think that would be kind of cool. Deathwatch, they've just had they've obviously had a new thing. I think I would give Deathwatch maybe like a Venerable Redemptor, because one of the big things about the Deathwatch is that you did used to get a lot of Venerable Dreadnoughts. There's a lot of stuff I'd do with Deathwatch, but they're in a little bit of a funny place right now. Right? What would I do with Deathwatch? Give them a full, proper release and take them out of purgatory, frankly. Yeah. Grey Knights. So it depends on if you want to make them Primaris or not. Yeah, bring back the Proteus Kill Team or Dreadnought HQs. Yeah, exactly. I think a Venerable Dreadnought character would be really cool for the Deathwatch. Grey Knights is kind of interesting because they're also one that's in a little bit of limbo right now, because obviously we know, a little birdie has told me they will be getting, I think they're going to be getting a lot of new stuff in 11th edition. They've already kind of got a lot of what they, I think if Deathwatch can't, or not Deathwatch, if Grey Knights can't already can they take Primaris stuff? No, they can't. I think you just open up Grey Knights to having all the Primaris stuff. I mean, I don't like the Primaris stuff, but I bet a lot of Grey Knight players would be like, it'd be pretty sick to get like a Grey Knight Repulsor or something. Maybe they wouldn't want that. Primaris Grey Knights would probably be pretty legit, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think the simple thing with Grey Knights is just Grey Knights don't really need new units. Maybe some updated sculpts, but I think what Grey Knights really need, and I don't think they need updated sculpts, by the way. I think Grey Knights actually have they're easier to build than the new Marines. But anyway, what I would probably give Grey Knights is just simply a psychic phase. Yeah, that's probably what I'd do. Imperial Fists, I would let them take the equivalent of Breacher Wardens from Horus Heresy. That's what I would do. Raven Guard, a special kind of jump pack intercessor where each one gets Raven's talons. Salamanders. I don't know that much about Salamanders, but I'd maybe give them something like Forge Guard. A bit like Victrix Guard, but every single one of them gets a Thunder Hammer and gets Artificer Armor. And the idea is that they're like the master artificers of the Salamanders. I think that would be cool. Space Wolves. They do have some... Space Wolves are interesting because they just got a load of new stuff and everyone's kind of happy with the new stuff. And they do get access to all the Primaris stuff. I was going to say like a big Wolfen Dreadnought, like a Redemptor Wolfen Dreadnought, but they already get the Brutalis dreadnoughts, so they don't really need that. And GW decided to get rid of all the frost weapons, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know. Space Wolves may be the only one where I think they're all right where they are. The beast side of the army, and we're happy. Yeah, I think the only thing I'd give Space Wolves is not dogshit Wolfen. Like, I would take these models and I would just give them not dogshit Wolfen. I would give them remastered, like 3rd edition, like Wolfen. Those were way cooler. These ones are just dog shit. Yeah. Lean way more into the feral space marine vibe rather than whatever the fuck this is. Yeah. This isn't it. I'd basically rip off the Shrek Wolfen from K47, and that'll do. Well, 40 came up a bit. There we are. Armies of the Imperium. So, Adeptus Sororitas. I would give them plastic repressors. I think that would be pretty good. I'd also, since the battle, I'd kind of just add things back in. Like, I'd bring back the shooty Celestines, maybe give them a different name. I'd bring back the plastic repressor. I would add in, but if I had to bring something new, I think it would be Frateris Militia. I think it'd be Frateris Militia. That's what, I think that would be a really, like, give them a proper shit muncher conscript unit. Adeptus Custodes. Well, firstly, I'd treat them equally to everybody else, and I would get rid of all of their Forge World stuff and utterly collapse the faction's viability. But other than that, can't be getting special treatment, Custodians players. Sorry. Yeah, can't be getting special treatment. Got to be treated the same as everybody else. Custodians are pretty one-dimensional. Big dudes in golden armor. How many variants of that can you really get? They've got all the dreadnoughts they like. They've got loads of infantry options. Do you know what? It's a bit of a cop-out, but I'd probably bring the Sagittars into plastic. I think that would just that would be enough. As much as I'd want to like flesh out the Sisters of Silence range, the whole point of this exercise was to have things that everyone would like. And I think Sisters of Silence are a bit hit and miss. Some people love them, some people don't. Some people don't care about them. Yeah, that's probably what I would go for. Admech. Ugh. Like, okay, we're just gonna let the Admech take all the plastic models from Horus Heresy. Like, that's it. Do you want to know what I'd give the Admech? I would give them like all of this Gucci shit, man. Okay, like the big penis tank. It looks a little bit like the space jockey from Alien. Probably not that bothered about that. But yeah, I'll take some fucking are these plastic Thalax? I swear these guys are plastic. Yeah, man. Plastic Thalax, Tech Thralls, fucking give them the big Castellax Battle Automa. Yeah, just really simple. Admech, it's just everything that's in plastic for Horus Heresy for Admech just needs to come over to 40k. It's actually kind of crazy. I feel like Admech have more in Heresy. Okay, they're a little bulked out. They're a little bulked out by knights and stuff. But even so, Admech haven't got a lot of options in 40k. See, I just say, look, you can take all the fun stuff. And look, if you're an Admech player and you hear that, I bet you would, like I said, the whole point of this is not to give them something amazing or whatever. Just, can I come up with an obvious release that would make everyone, the vast majority of players within that faction happy? Yeah, I think Plastic Sagittarius would make the majority, and Plastic Sagittarius would make the majority of Custodians players happy. They're like, huh, that's cool. Yeah, like that. It's an obvious low-hanging fruit. I think making all of this shit available to Mechanicus players in 40k would make them happy. Yeah. Then we get to Imperial Guard, just a tank. Doesn't really matter which one. Plastic Macarius, maybe. Just a big tank. Really, GW, you can't fuck it up too much. Big tank, easy one would be Plastic Macarius, but something new. I'd something new. Yeah. Just a big tank or a medium tank or a little tank. It doesn't really matter. If you want to make all the guard players happy, just release a new tank of some kind. Yeah, maybe the Malcador, let them use that from Heresy. Yeah, just a tank. Yeah, Macarius, Plastic Macarius, where you can build the Vulcan, the battle tank, the Vanquisher, or the Omega. Yeah, fine. Yeah, whatever. It's super easy. Imperial Agents, just make them a real faction and not a catalog, because right now they're a catalog. Imperial Agents, just if you want to give them reverse allies, where there's not they can be allied into any Imperial Imperial army, but they can, and you can take 2 units, but let them take 2 units from any Imperium army. That's how you do it. And maybe you have a whole thing where, like, if a character leads a squad, they can, if a character leads squads, like, that can count as like, as one choice. So you can get like four if you want to. So you're going to have like 2 squads led by 2 characters, and that would be your 2 choices. But yeah, just reverse allies. So an Imperial Agents player can be like, oh man, I really need to plug this gap in my list. I'll take like 2 or 3 of this. Maybe 3? I don't know. You can figure it out. But yeah, reverse allies. That's how you make it. And so Imperial Agents can feel like they can they're requisitioning stuff. That would be cool. Yeah. And give them a proper army rule, for fuck's sake. That shouldn't be the army rule. They should have that and something else. Is there one more for it? Imperial Knights. Now, look, if I was going to fix Imperial Knights, I'd give them peasants like in Bretonnia. But the thing is that I don't think that would make Imperial Knight players happy. That would make me happy. I don't think it would make Imperial Knight players happy. So what would I give Imperial Knights that would make Imperial Knight players happy? A bigger knight. That's what I would give. I'd give them a bigger knight. Or I'd give them a medium knight that was psychic. Something like that. I'd either give them a bigger knight, because big knights are the best, or I would give them a medium knight that was psychic. Yeah, Psi Knights. I think either would go over a treat. I'd do the same for Chaos Knights as well. Arms of Chaos. Chaos Demons. What do I give Chaos Demons? A Codex. That was easy. Chaos Knights, already said. Psi Knights. Chaos Space Marines. Well, there's so many different things to choose from with Chaos Space Marines because you've got all the different legions. But again, if it was me, I'd say like, okay, maybe not controversial, but maybe slightly cop out. I'd just bring back the old cultists. The new cultists aren't cutting it. I'd just bring back the old cultists. That's it. And would that make all Chaos players happy? Yep. It would. That would be welcomed by the majority. Just the old cultists with the old options. That'll do. Nice. Death Guard. A bigger, smellier Terminator. Death Guard players love their Terminators. Like, they love their Death Shroud. Death Shroud have been, like, good for edition after edition after edition. No one complains about that. No one complains about that. So just give them more of the shit they love, and they love their Termies, and they love the big smelly Termies. I mean, there's other things you could do, probably. But I think that's a pretty obvious one. Just some kind of bigger, smellier Terminator. I would say bring the old, give them their old cultists back as well. But again, I think that's already covered by the Chaos Space Marine. So I had to come up with something new. Or maybe new demon engine. Both would probably be good. Give them the Dark Tide units. Yeah, the thing is that I don't know many Death Guard players that are that bothered about their cultists. Like, the Death Guard cultists went away, and most Death Guard players sort of just shrugged and went, I guess I'll take Poxwalkers then. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you took the Death Shroud away from them, they'd be really, really upset. Plague Ogrins would be cool. Plague Ogrins could be cool. I could see that. That's it. Something between, like, you don't give them another kind of Terminator because they've already got Blight Laws and Death Shroud, and they like those. You don't give them a new kind of cultist. You give them Plague Ogrins. Big smelly boys. Yeah, that's what you do. So it's like a Terminator for the Poxwalker. What I would do, I don't know if many deaths, I think that's the minimum I'd do. If I was to be selfish about it, I'd make it so you could run a pure, like, Plague Cult Death Guard army. So you can have Poxwalkers, and then you can have, like, the big smelly Plague Ogrins, and then I'd have, like, some kind of, like, Plague Cultist leader that's, like, even bigger and smellier. Maybe like a Demon Prince would cover that. A Demon Prince would cover that. So you have like a Demon Prince who's got like all of these like people dancing to his tune. Yeah. I want to check out the Death Guard Demon Prince. Oh, they've got the new one. Do they still have the old one? I don't think they do, unfortunately. That's a shame. Okay, so I'd give them big smelly Plague Ogrin kind of boys as like a bigger smellier Poxwalker, and then I'd give them a remastered version of the old Death Guard Demon Prince back, because he was way cooler than whatever the fuck this guy is. This fucking Age of Sigmar motherfucker. Emperor's Children. So I think I'd just give Emperor's Children, they've just got too limited a roster right now. They've been limited in strange and confusing ways. So in addition to bringing back the Diaz demonettes, I think I'd just let Emperor's Children take more toys. I mean, even if it's something like, hey, guess what? You can have I'd really lean into the Noise Marine shit, right? Like a Forge Fiend, but it doesn't have plasma cannons. It has Noise Marine cannons. No, a Land Raider with Noise Marine cannons with like blast masters or bigger blast masters. That's what I'd do. I'd give them I'd basically give them like Emperor's Children. They need some tanks. I think they need some fucking tanks. And I think they need some sonic boom tanks. And you know, it could be as simple. You could give them the Death Guard treatment and give them like their own bespoke shit if you wanted to. Like, you know, like the Mephitic Blighthauler, it doesn't really have an equivalent. It's its own thing, right? Same with the Plague Burst Crawler, right? It's not a predator with like gloop guns on it. It's its own thing. Same with like the Bloat Drone. So I'd either just give them like sonic versions of existing armor, like a Sonic Fiend, a Sonic Predator, a Sonic Land Raider, or I'd give them Emperor's Children equivalent of like this, like of their own demon engines, but Sonic. Yeah. That's the way I would go. I think that's the way that would also be okay with GW, because GW, you know, if I was to give Emperor's Children some stuff, I would go really fucked up. Like I've talked about this. Like I'd have dudes who are running around with like fucking needles sticking out of them. They're completely juiced up on combat drugs. Like they've got like all their veins are like fucked up because they've like juiced up every vein up. Like not even the Astartes healing can like heal them. Like not even the veins in the dick are barely working. The veins in the toes are barely working. The veins, the fucking eyeballs are barely working. I'd go full into like that kind of excess, and then have like, you know, another kind of like berserker running around like who's all like cut up because he's like he can't feel anything anymore. Like so he's like anything. You know, I've talked about my like, you know, take a unit of Space Marines that have 0 armor, a 7+. They're a Space Marine unit like these Tormentors, but their armor save 7+, but you give them a 3 up feel no pain. And the idea is that they've gone to the absolute limits of excess. They can barely feel anything anymore, which is why they literally don't feel any pain. But like when they're like they run forward, like, you know, they've cut themselves, they've done drugs, they've done everything. Like they've flayed their own skin, just like everything. And the point is that like they're just running forward and they're hoping they get shot. So they're like hopefully they can like actually feel something. Like they get an arm blown off and they feel like a twinge of pain and they're like, yes, more, like that. I'd call them like excessives or something. As if you've got Tormentors. Is that it? Is that the only? Yes, you've got like Tormentors, right? You've got Flawless Blades. I'd probably have a unit that's just called like excessives. And the thing is that they have literally gone to the edge of excess. Yeah, like Gladiator style. Yeah, exactly. Cosmic like Gladiator style. Like I give them like the Gladiator style like helmets and stuff. Yeah. It's a really cool idea. Like yeah, same concept, but make them like gladiatorial. Really, really like that. Yeah, they spend all their days just basically trying to feel like anything. Yeah. Like nets, whips, berserk. Yeah, 100%. So either all the Sonic tanks, if GW, you know, if we're likely to get GW to actually do it, it's not though obviously listening to us, but do you know what I mean? If GW was ever to like, GW would never sign off on the excessives because they're too scary and we're corpo. But they'd absolutely be like, yeah, fuck it, we can slap a fucking sonic boom gun on top of a Predator, bing bang boom, easy peasy, you know, something like that. So yeah, either way. Thousand Suns, I just do what I do with Grey Knights, is actually make them magic-y again. They almost got it right, and then they gave them the magic, and the magic was too powerful. They took it away from them again. What is that? They've got Special Marines, maybe more. And I know this is actually kind of controversial because I don't think Thousand Suns players actually like these guys, but I wouldn't be against more of these like robot, like automata style things, but bigger, like dreadnought sized, tank sized. But I don't know if Thousand Suns players really like the robots, so it's a solid maybe. I think, truth be told, just they want more Zangors. I don't think they do. I just give them like a psychic dreadnought. Yeah. Scarab Occult Dreadnought. Big Kopesh. If they've got it in Heresy, bring it over. World Eaters. All right. I've got it. Okay. What if we released a Khorne Berserker who could take 2 chain axes? What do we think? I'm pretty certain that would go over well. What if we just gave them either that, the nails are biting, either that, or we give them the equivalent of like a Brutalis Dreadnought for the Space Marines, but it's got 2 chain axes for its, rather than claws, it's got 2 chain axes. So it's a dreadnought with chain axes, like a big dreadnought, like bigger, like somewhere. I mean, maybe that's encroaching on like Mauler Fiend territory. I don't know. But like a big Berserker, I think a big Berserker Dreadnought would go down well. I think if you gave them a big Berserker Dreadnought, most World Eater players would be pretty happy with that. But honestly, I think that might even be overcomplicating it. Just World Eaters that can take double chain axes. Yeah. Xenos armies. Eldar in the bin. No, okay. We have to. What would we give the Eldar? They're pretty well rounded out. Can they take this? Does the Seer Council still exist? I don't think it takes squads of Warlocks, but I don't know if the Seer Council still. I mean, Eldar are pretty okay at the moment. I mean, Exodite stuff, right? Yeah. Or I was also thinking Shadow Spectres. You don't think Exodites? I don't think you need to get too cray-cray with it. I don't think you need to go Dino Riders. Oh, yeah, Karandras. Yeah, give them the Striking Scorpion guy. Yeah, give him the Missing Phoenix Lord. I think the Missing Phoenix Lord is a less controversial choice and a more obvious one. But if I was getting funky with it, I might say a squad of Eldar Exodites. I'm not sure what they do. Eldar are typically an infantry army, so I think you'd give them some infantry. Maybe they could be like rangers, so they're like an infiltrating scouting unit, but melee. Get up close and personal. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But honestly, I think just the Missing Phoenix Lord is the obvious one. Striking Scorpion. Do they infiltrate already? Fair. Then just give them the Striking Scorpion Phoenix Lord. Easy peasy. Sometimes you don't have to get too clever with it. Drukhari. It doesn't really matter what you give Drukhari. You just have to give them more than the Leagues of Votann, because right now their pride's kind of hurting. Maybe all the stuff you took away that was in Finecast, GW, actually just bring it back in plastic. I think that's pretty straightforward. Genestealer Cult. Non-shit Brood Brother rules would be my preference. It's not really a model release though. So I'm a guard player, and if I was to do something with Genestealer Cult, I'd give them like, it might sound kind of crazy. I'm not sure if I would do the whole allying Imperial Guard thing anymore. I think I'd just give them Genestealer Cult versions of the datasheet. And I'd make them unique to represent that, like, it's not just a Leman Russ battle tank, it's a Genestealer Cult Leman Russ, you know? And I'd give it a different ability to the Leman Russ battle tank to make it feel like distinctive, maybe. That's what I would do. Or like I said, just not shit, prove the rules. The other thing though is, that's what I would do, but Genestealer Cult players, they kind of like their funky mutant boys. Like, they love their aberrants. You know, they fucking love their aberrants, right? They do. And GW has a policy of only ever giving Genestealer Cult additional characters and never new proper units. So maybe a new aberrant character, because Genestealer Cult is basically an army of characters with some shit munchers following them, you know? No more characters, please. All right, I won't give you any more characters. Oh, I've got it. So you guys like infantry. You guys like mutants. What if we saw Genestealer Cult infected, like non-humanoid? So what does a Genestealer Cult infected like dog pack look like, for example? Yeah, like something like that. I know that might sound kind of like crazy, but some sort of like, yeah, use it as an example. Like, you know, Genestealers, they can like, it's not just human. We know it's not just humans they can infect. It's not just humans they can infect. They can infect other things as well. Like go bestial with it, I would say. Like, we know humans and dogs work closely together, like side by side. So having like GSC dog packs, I think it sounds a little weird, but I think you could get really fucked up with it. And I think it could actually be quite like it's kind of like you'd make them like Genestealer light. So aberrants are slow and feisty, and Genestealers themselves are fast and fighty, but you want something that's like fast and fighty, but not very durable at all. Yeah. I think GSC dog packs would be really cool. I don't know would that be something that all the GSC people would like? I don't know. We could probably ask all 12 of them. I think we could get them I think we could get 7 GSC players on board. Leagues of Votann. Big mining tank. They want a big gas truck that goes boom. I mean, yeah, having GSC, having like Genestealer Cult, like unalive bombers running around and like bomb trucks running around would be cool, but I don't think GW would go for it. Yeah. But yeah, I think something between the Land Fortress and the Sagittar, and it's just like drill tank, like a bigger, tankier version of the drill truck that the GSC get. They need a dedicated drill tank. Or even if they don't make it with a drill, I mean, I think they should make it with a drill. But if they're not going to make it for drill, just a dedicated tank between the Land Fortress and the Sagittar. That's it. Obvious, easy win. It's amazing they didn't get it in their second round of releases. Necrons, so easy. Even if they already basically have them, doesn't matter. Pariahs. Or another shard of the Catan, but probably pariahs. Orcs, 2 words. Looted, tank. Easy, moving on. Tau. Now, if I was being selfish, I would say that the Tau should get new auxiliary races. But this is not about what I want for the Tau. It's about what the Tau players would get excited for as a release. And we all know that what gets a Tau player's peen hard is battlesuits. So it doesn't really matter what it is, just battlesuit. There you go. It's not about what I think they should have. If it was me, I'd give them loads of auxiliary races, Guvesa, the Torellians, weird like Uglug squid people. Like, that's what I would give them. Let's get the auxiliaries going here. But I think what the Tau players want, I mean, you know what? I'm just going to give it to them. I'm just going to give it to them. I'm just going to make them happy. You can have like a plastic Yavara Riptide. Like, I know you all want it. You love your Riptides. You love your Riptides. All right. Tau players, the edition doesn't start for them until they can run Triptide. All right. The edition doesn't start for them until they can run loads of Riptides. And so just give them some sort of new Riptide. There you go. I think they'd be pretty happy with that. So we're saying like Katana battlesuits. I don't know. Like maybe. It's a solid maybe. Because Tau players say they want to do melee. But if Tau players wanted to do melee, they'd collect a melee faction. They wouldn't collect Tau. And they'd take rampages and other groups, stuff like that. I think you don't listen to what the Tau players say that they want. Every Tau player says they only collected the faction because they thought the suits were cool, and that's a lie. It's a lie. It's part of like becoming a Tau player. You have to like hide your true feelings and your true intentions, and you can't just own the fact. You can't just own the fact that you just want to fuck people in the ass with battlesuit. Okay, like that's okay. Just own it. I respect Tau players who go, yeah, I just fucking love smashing people with battlesuits. I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Let's fucking own it. Like, that's okay. I respect you more. It's when you pretend that that's not why you're here. When you pretend that's not why you're here. When you pretend like, oh, no, poor me. No. You're here for the battlesuits. You want to fuck people up with the battlesuits. Cool. That's fine. I'd give you some sort of big ass battlesuit. Wouldn't be melee. It'd be shooty. It would be some new super shooty battlesuit. It would make you really, really happy. There you go. I got you, my Tau brothers. I got you. I know what you like. I got you. If I was to be selfish though, Tau community, if I somehow become the self-appointed creative director of GW, and I get to make all of these things come true, all right, you can have your new big shooty battlesuit, but for one edition, maybe 2 editions, but for a while, I want to make pulse carbines good. Now, I know you've all built them with pulse rifles, but I'm just going to be honest with you. The pulse carbine looks way cooler. It looks way cooler. It's like I like the long rifle. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but the pulse carbine just looks cooler. So if I can give you the big battlesuit, I got to make my pulse carbines on my fire warrior teams with pulse carbines just have to be like legit. All right. What have we got next? Tyranids! Oh man, I mean, just give them a big bug. It doesn't really either bring back something like what was the one from Forge World that could like eat a guy and get like a super big feel no pain and had like a rib cage that like opened up and like it fucking ate people that way. They began with like a D. Give them that in plastic. It doesn't really matter. Give them some sort of big, but it doesn't have to be like ridiculously big. It doesn't need to be troop transport bug. Ugh, I do quite like it. I do quite like the idea of the troop transport bug. I don't know if Tyranids, the Dimacarian, that's it. Thank you, Twitchy. Maybe, I don't know. I would quite like Tervigon that spawns Hormagaunts. You know, if I was being selfish, so it would be a big bug, but it spawns Hormagaunts. You see, now if I was to do this, what I would do is I'd have the Tervigon, because the Tervigon doesn't get any ranged weapons, right? So what I would do is I'd give the Tervigon the ability to take like a venom cannon, and it spawns Termagants, because the idea is that it's a shooty bug that spawns shooty bugs. And then I'd give the Tervigon, the Hervigon, I'd give the Hervigon melee weapons and it spawned melee bugs. But it's a little late for that now. So the best I can do is give you a Hervigon that has a shooting weapon. But like, or the option for it. Maybe you give it the option for a shooting weapon. But yeah, I think that's what I would do. Because I think that's the nice, I think that would be pretty well accepted. People like Hormagaunts. People like swarms of Nids. Giving them more ways to make Nid swarms viable. Ticks the box for a big bug and ticks the box for supporting the swarm. Yeah, I think that's what I'd probably go for. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I'd go for. Make it evolve. A caterpillar, it can evolve mid-battle. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. But yeah, it'd probably have to be some sort of big bug. Again, it doesn't really... Twitter players are like guard players. It doesn't really matter what big bug you come up with. Just a big bug. They're like, guard players like big tanks. Twitter players like big bugs. There you are. And that is what I would add to every single Warhammer 40k army as part of a big release cycle for like 11th edition or something like that. That's what I consider to be like all the low-hanging fruit. That's all the low-hanging fruit that GW could pick at their leisure, and every release that they did would be well received and well liked by the majority of every single community in Warhammer 40k. I'm not saying that there aren't other ideas, but they're the obvious easy ones. They're the obvious easy ones so that you make 11th edition a guaranteed success. There you go. What do you think, chat? Do you think that every one of those ideas would be... I'm not saying there weren't other ideas, but do you think every one of those ideas actually had some potential? Would be people saw a new big Nid, they'd go, yeah. People saw a new Votan like bubble tank, they'd be like, yeah, I think all of those would go down a treat. Plasma Macarius, we keep wishing it into existence. It'll happen. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, RJ, Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock the Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.